had a few requests asking to show how to treat the goat skin head with a skin conditioning treatment, so I'm going to show you that today. Now, I compared breaking in a new skin kind of similar to breaking in a new pair of leather shoes, where they're stiff and uncomfortable at first, but the more you wear them, the more comfortable they get. And the skin is kind of like that. The more you play it, the better it will sound. And that's because striking with the tipper on one side and then manipulating the tone with the hand pressure at the back kind of helps to soften up the skin and give it that broken in feeling. Now, treating it with a skin conditioner can help that process along a little bit. So some of you might find this useful if the skin is still quite stiff and tight and it's just a little bit frustrating to play on. Now, the product that I use is something called Arctic Dubbin. Arctic Dubbin. You can get, I'm sure that's just the brand name, but you can use all kinds of different things like lanolin cream or neat's foot oil. I've heard people using something like Mary Kay extra moliate night cream. I'm sure that'd be the more expensive option, but I like this Dubbin. It looks kind of like Vaseline. It's quite sticky, and I picked this up at Home Hardware in Canada when I go back there because it's quite readily available there. The Dubbin that we get here in Scotland has a bit of an orange tint to it, so I prefer to use the clear stuff. So what I do is if it's a little bit too stiff, I will take the cover off, and it's just in a plastic container, and I'll stick it in the microwave for maybe 20 or 30 seconds, and it just softens it a little bit, makes it easier to spread. So I'm just going to show you how to apply it to the skin. Right, I'm just going to use my fingers and scoop some of the Dubbin out and just rub it into the skin and massage it into every inch of the skin, all around the beveled edge there. And you're going to do this with the entire head, just in big circular motions. And you know, you can do this for maybe, I'd take maybe about at least 10 or 15 minutes and really work it into the skin. And then you're going to leave it on overnight. And so the next day, after you've rubbed it all in, the next day you're going to take something like a lint-free cloth or a rag, and you're just going to rub in big circular motions again, rub all of the Dubbin off. And you know if you have it all off by when you go to play and you have it held up against your side. If it's still tacky against your clothing, you still need to maybe rub it more. And so you should feel an instant difference in the actual feeling of the playing surface, but also in the tone of the drum. Just a few more notes on treating the skin. I personally treat the playing side of the skin because that's the side that's going to receive my tipper. So if you're really bothered by that rough, scrapey sound of the tipper dragging on the skin, the softer you make that skin, and especially the side that the tipper is making contact with, it's going to make a lot more sense to treat that side. The other thing is, if you have a non-tunable drum, I wouldn't treat both sides of the skin because that kind of waterproofs it and will make it harder to wet down. So I would wet the inside to slacken the skin tension of a non-tunable Bodhran. Also, if you live in a really dry climate, you can probably afford to treat the skin a few more times than if you live kind of in a more humid climate. Just be careful if you live in a climate that is really dry in the winter time and you have a lot of central heating on, the drum seems really, really tight, you can kind of get overexcited and over-treat it, and then come the humid summertime, it can be a little bit too floppy. And if it's a non-tunable drum, then you're left with taking your hairdryer everywhere. So it's much easier to wet it down with a spray bottle than to take your hairdryer everywhere you go. So I'd love to know how you get on with that advice and what product you chose to use to treat your skin, and if you noticed a difference in the tone and how your stick received the skin, if you had that scrapey problem before, and if it helped you avoid that. So yeah, I'd love to hear your feedback, and good luck with that.